Good evening and welcome to Nationwide on the network service of the NTA. I'm Elizabeth Omori. Thank you so much for joining us. Now let's begin with the President's visit to Ethiopia. The wide-ranging partnership between Nigeria and Ethiopia has gained momentum and vigor as the two countries synergize further the mechanisms of cooperation with the signing of two bilateral agreements on defense and diplomacy. This formed the highlights of the high-level talks between President Muhammad Buhari and Prime Minister of Ethiopia in Addis Ababa. State House correspondent Adamu Sambo reports. We'll bring you details of that report later. Moving on, following Sunday night's insurgency attack on commuters in our New Village, Theatre Commander Operation Lafia Dole has put in place stringent measures to safeguard lives and property by conducting 24-hour daily intensive counter-operations along Maiduguri-Damaturu Highway. Theatre Commander Operation Lafia Dole Major General Olusegun Adeni disclosed this while briefing the press in Maiduguri. Maimuna Garba reports.
While expressing dismay over the unfortunate incident in Auno, Theatre Commander Operation Lafia Dole Major General Olusegun Adeni said 10 persons lost their lives and several vehicles were burned.
We are going to do more than we are doing to ensure incidences like this become a thing of the past. I'm calling on all stakeholders to help us make road Maiduguri-Damaturu safe.
The theatre commander said during daytime, troops secured the highway, ensuring commuters move freely since the last attack, while in the night they go after the insurgents with full understanding that the road is closed and no vehicles plying the road.
If you know that this road closes by 4 o'clock, why are you entering it from either Maiduguri or Damaturu side by 3 o'clock? Because you find about 200 vehicles lined up in Auno, in Jekana, in Minok, in Ngamdu, even in Kukareta. Many times, they will even be making gestures and doing everything possible that the soldiers should open the road for them to get to either Damaturu or Maiduguri. This is dangerous.
Meanwhile, Theatre Commander Operation Lafia Dole has handed over 3 students to their families after they were rescued by troops of the command from the terrorists. According to General Adeni, the rescued students, 2 girls and a boy, were abducted along Maiduguri-Gubio Road and rescued as a result of hot pursuit of the insurgents with the help of locals who provided intelligence. In Maiduguri, Maimuna Garba, NTA News.
Now to partnerships. Naturally endowed with mineral and agricultural resources, Ekiti State's status is about to change in a strategic partnership with the Nigerian Air Force. Correspondent Najatu Tijani reports.
Like two peas in a pod, Ekiti State and the Nigerian Air Force are seeking to expand opportunities in agriculture, medicine and security through enhanced air defense.
We believe that this industry, the aviation industry, is an economic generator itself, which would equate to job creation, solid source of income for us. And a proposed land covering area of about 40,000 acres of land, producing within the next 1 year about 10,000 liters a day of milk, which will need to be transported regularly.
Side by side to ensure that we support this strategic initiative of building an agro-allied international airport that will not only support our air operations but will also add value to the security or to the efforts of making Ekiti a secure environment.
NAV notes that the state's landscape makes it perfect for such a cargo project, which has the potential to make it one of the largest agribusiness hubs in Africa. With a resume which includes studies in peace and conflict resolution and war studies, the governor of Ekiti State seems to be in a good position for this strategic partnership with the Nigerian Air Force, which seeks to make Ekiti State not only an agro-business and medical hub, but an air defense stronghold. Other proposed projects include the establishment of a regiment training unit and other security interventions in the state. Najatu Tijani, NTA News.
Meanwhile, security agencies are stepping up to counter emerging challenges, especially terrorism and other criminalities. To this end, the second Leadership in Counterterrorism and Violent Extremism course has been held in Abuja, where the Inspector General of Police restated the significance of synergy among security agencies. Francis Form has details.
Nigeria has been grappling with some security challenges that borders on terrorism and extreme violence, leading to the loss of lives and property. Among the different measures adopted to counter this is this Leadership in Counter-Terrorism course, which is the second in the series.
Unfortunately, the Sahel region is burning, and the Sahel region includes the fringes of northeast Nigeria. And if those areas are not settled, we in Nigeria cannot be sleeping.
Leadership of various security agencies must see the need to further liaise and cooperate and collaborate among themselves in various areas of security interest through information and intelligence sharing, partnerships, training, provision of logistics and deployment of technology.
Provision of infrastructure at all levels and job creation for youths to reduce criminality is emphasized. The 4-day course has participants drawn from the military, law enforcement agencies, security agencies, non-governmental and civil society organizations. Francis Form, NTA News.
Still on security, in order to silence the guns in Africa, government must provide security of basic needs. This was a consensus of guests on NTA's current affairs program. Good morning, Nigeria. Ekemini Williams has details.
Statistics provide that 80% of light weapons in Africa are possessed by non-state actors, and this has posed a security challenge to the continent over time. The 33rd AU Summit in Ethiopia, which seeks ways to end regional violence, has been applauded by many. Force Public Relations Officer DCP Frankenba says African Union's direction towards silencing the guns in Africa is apt, even though belated.
AU leaders, who are incidentally also the political and economic leaders in Africa, must also walk the talk and then ensure that back home in their respective countries, they entrench a culture that promotes justice, equity, responsible governance.
African leaders are advised to set up a commission to reach out to various stakeholders among member states to achieve the desired results.
There was an ECOWAS convention that was agreed in 2004. And as of today, about 12 or 13 ECOWAS member states have set up the commission that convention actually encouraged. Nigeria, unfortunately, is yet to set up that convention.
Discussants also advised the AU to set up conversations around military-industrial complexes to provide checks against gun companies distributing light weapons to member states.
The last statistics showed that there's over 100 million small and light arms that have flown into Africa, particularly into Libya, which basically brought the end of Gaddafi's reign. These arms have found their way through the Sahel into parts of West Africa, and this is what was suffering here. These arms have basically found themselves into the hands of dreaded groups like Boko Haram.
They called on African leaders to speak with one voice in order to succeed in fighting genocide and violence. In Abuja, Ekemini Williams, NTA News.
NTA, time now to link up with Jennifer in our Lagos studio for more reports. Hello, Jennifer.
Thank you, Lizzie, and welcome to Lagos. Now, our first story is on justice. The Lagos State government has promised to give financial support and offer pro bono judicial service to indigent residents. Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu made the pledge when members of the Lagos Public Interest Law Partnership paid a courtesy call on him at the Lagos State Government House. Nosa Usula reports.
Lagos Public Interest Law Partnership was set up in 2012 to expand access to justice and reduce the burden on government-funded agencies. The governor commended the Board of Trustees for making life bearable for residents, especially those who might not have the opportunity to be heard due to financial constraints.
The indigent citizens, we have a huge population, and have people who truly, really deserve the service, who would want fair representation of whatever matter that might come up, but because of where they find themselves, their status, and also they might not be able to afford, or they might not be able to have the opportunity to be heard, to be listened to. And you know, all of the agencies government has set up can still not even meet up with those requirements.
The team leader of the Lagos Public Interest Law Partnership Board of Trustees appreciated the continuous support of the state government, with special regards to the digitization of its services.
We still rely much on Lagos State.
The Lagos Public Interest Law Partnership was established to complement government's efforts in the provision of free legal services to the people. In Lagos, Nusa Usula, NTA News.
Now to the restriction of commercial motorcycle. The vehicular traffic in Lagos has given rise to complaints from various quarters. Not unmindful of this, the Lagos State government, in collaboration with relevant agencies, are working assiduously to make for easy flow of traffic in the mega city. Annie Daniels reports that matching words with actions, motorists and other road users will soon breathe a sigh of relief.
Recently, traffic situation in Lagos has gone overboard, is stating the obvious. A cross-section of Lagosians attributes these developments to the ban of commercial motorcycles and tricycles in some parts of the metropolis.
A reaction to an immediate change can always be like that. So whatever present gain or need of reaction will change sooner or later. If or when the government rolls out all these palliatives in terms of like increased buses on the road, improvement on the water transportation system that we have, and stuff like that, improvement on the road construction, bridges, BRT corridors coming into the scene.
This has also given rise to complaints by commuters and other road users. The state government, in its desire to cushion the effects of the ban, made available some commercial buses.
We are coming up with a smaller version of a bus to now apply the inner routes. It's meant for inner routes, because what we are planning is to reduce the number of private vehicles on the road and come out with mass transit. Mass transit can be of high capacity, can be of medium capacity.
Collaboration with security and traffic agencies is also in place.
Recently, Lagos State went ahead to recruit about 1,017 cadets into LASMA. With that number, it is expected that with the synergy that FRSC has with LASMA, there will be a great lot of improvement.
And for those who are wondering when the traffic situation in Lagos will come to an end, hear this.
Government is looking at how to reduce travel time. Travel time maybe from 1 hour to 30 minutes. Maybe from 30 minutes again to about 25 minutes. That's what government is looking at, depending on the mileage you are covering or the distance you are covering. All
these, they say, will be achieved when motorists and other road users act in accordance with laid down rules and regulations. In Lagos, Annie Daniels, NTA News.
Now that's a bit from Lagos. More reports from Elizabeth in Abuja after the break.
This year, the weather conditions Harmattan in Nigeria is harsh, with temperature dropping very low in some parts of the country. Many underprivileged children are exposed to these harsh weather conditions, putting them at risk to all sorts of respiratory infections with devastating consequences. We request well-meaning Nigerians to kindly donate warm clothing, blankets, beverages, soap, moisturizers, and other essential items for the benefit of these children. Get involved to support displaced and underprivileged children exposed to these harsh weather conditions. Powered by Aisha Buhari Foundation.
The 17 Sustainable Development Goals come together in cities. This challenge is very clear. If we do not make a difference in urban environments, we will not achieve the change we need.
The UN Deputy Secretary General, Amina Mohammed, is our guest tonight on Tuesday Live. She will be answering your questions together with other guests. Keep a date with us.
Coming soon in March 2020 in the capital city Abuja, the Ivory 8 Ball, a life-saving fundraising event featuring music and arts in aid of skin cancer patients with albinism. For participation and sponsorship, please call Edidio, Chinwe. This event is supported by the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA TV Enterprises, Federal Radio Corporation of Nigeria, FRCN, and the Albino Foundation. The Ivory 8 Ball for a worthy cause. Watch out.
The lack of electricity has really brought up multi-dimensional challenges of human existence.
People are really suffering. They are really suffering.
Whatever we want to do, we are just managing ourselves.
We are praying to have something.
Thanks for staying with us. Today is United Nations Day of Women and Girls in Science. A day mainly used to explore ways society can work towards providing equal opportunities for males and females to pursue careers in science and technology. Joining me now in the studio to talk more on the essence of the day is Dr. Rose Maxwell Gidado, Country Coordinator, OFAP Nigeria. It's nice to have you in our studio.
Thank you.
All right, now a lot of women are interested in science, but most times they're excluded from participating in science. Why?
I don't know. Are they excluded?
Yes.
I don't think they are excluded.
Okay.
I think we all have the right. Women have the right to study science. They have the right to life. They have the right to everything. It's just that science sometimes, is being seen as something which is very difficult, and then it's time consuming. And you know that as women, especially the married ones, if you really have to go into science, you have to give it time. And as a married woman who takes care of children and all, it's really very difficult. Some of us that are into it, I mean, sometimes it's not an easy thing at all. So, but a matter of exclusion, I don't think so. I don't think they're being excluded because that freedom is there. Okay. We have girls' schools, secondary schools, especially here in Nigeria. We have the federal government girls' colleges. That at least is something that federal government has really made efforts to give us that this freedom to go into education, to read, to learn, to read the sciences and all. But because science is really right from the secondary school, it's a time you pick subjects. But when it comes to picking subjects, the girls most of the time they run away from the science because of the drudgery in it.
Okay.
You have to read very hard.
Research.
You have to climb those scientific words are very difficult. You have to go into experiments in the lab and what. And so, I don't know, most of the time the girls seem to run away from science. Okay,
now we know they have an opportunity. It's free. You can pick up a course.
Yeah, you can pick up a course.
Sciences.
Yeah.
Now,
so nobody excludes anyone from it.
The question is, are women and girls really given the opportunity to participate in science?
Yeah, we are given the opportunity to participate in science, at least by exposing us to science courses.
Okay.
Because once you start your secondary education, and when you get to some level, to some class, either Form 3, or SS3 or SS4, then you're given opportunity to choose to make a choice. And it is your own choice. And it depends on the efforts you have been putting in right from the beginning. Like I told you, there's so much drudgery in science, those scientific words, those Latin words that you have to cram, you have to read books, you have to always be studying and all and that. I think the choice is ours, but the difficult, science is seen as a very difficult subject.
Okay. Now, a survey by UNESCO in 2016 shows that 30% of researchers worldwide are women. Is this figure not low?
The figure is quite low.
Okay.
I think it depends on when they carried out that survey, and it depends on, can I say, maybe the number of areas they reached across to. But I think worldwide, to me, it is low because I know we have so many women who have excelled in sciences, who are into sciences. We have many, so many of them. I think it's quite low.
Okay.
It could be more than 30%. Yeah.
30%. No. So how can we increase the figure? How can we change the narrative?
Yeah, we change the narrative, of course, through awareness, creation, talking to people about science. I mean, carrying, doing sensitizing the women, the girls, the world, and encouraging them to go into science. That is not really drudgery. And then we have to use those women who have excelled in the field of science, who have really made significant contributions. We have to give them role models, like to use those people as their role models. Like in Nigeria, you could see Dora Akunyili, who was a pharmacist Dora Akunyili of late memory, who was a pharmacist. She really brought NAFDAC, NAFDAC to where it is today.
Yes.
Yeah. So, and that's something, that we can use. Not just her, but there are so many women, Grace Alele Williams, and so on and so forth, the big women. And even today, we have other women, like in Nigeria, who are carrying out research, breakthrough research. We have Professor Adebambo, who is Fumilayo Adebambo, who is in Abeokuta, University of Agriculture, Abeokuta, yes, who has made significant contribution, a groundbreaking research, and so on and so forth. We could use those women to use as a role model. And
all right, Dr. Rose, I'm sorry, this is the much I can take from you. Thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Thanks so much for having me here.
I've been speaking with Dr. Rose Maxwell Gidado. She's the country coordinator of Nigeria. Moving on, the diversification plan of the federal government and the target of lifting 100 million people out of poverty would be achievable with the Muhammadu Buhari-led administration's drive to fully harness the potential in the country's water sector. These were the words of Minister of Water Resources, Sulaiman Adamu, as he continued the inspection of water projects in Katsina and Jigawa states. Oluseyi Adeagbo was on the minister's entourage and filed in this report.
The constructions of over 260 functional dams and reservoirs across the country since the late 80s and 90s came as applause, but harnessing their potentials, stakeholders in the water sector believe have largely been neglected. However, the present administration of President Muhammadu Buhari is said to be working towards changing this narrative. The completed Zobe Regional Water Supply Project with water treatment plants, as well as the 75 million litre capacity Hill-Steel tank in Dusinma, Katsina State, are ready to be commissioned by Mr. President. Gari Irrigable Land Project of 100,000 hectares is another work on course, which the minister says is with a financial commitment of 14 billion naira. The Director of Irrigation in the ministry and the contractor on site are promising the delivery of 4 out of the 8 sectors before the end of 2020. The minister, who visited all the water project sites, expressed satisfaction.
Most of these dams are 20, 30 years old, but there has been no facility like this for them. So there is a huge benefit for the communities. Farmers will get back their lands. They don't have to wait till rainy season. They can farm all year round. If you are going to do around this place, you can cultivate rice 3 to 4 times. So you can imagine what that means to the economy.
The Water Resources Minister was at the palace of the Emir of Abuja, Alhaji Adamu Abubakar Maje, where he sought the cooperation of the people to help fast-track the completion of projects in the area. He also met with a foreign investor on the need to strengthen partnership. Oluseyi Adeagbo, NTA News.
In our power generation, 1,350 megawatts of electricity is expected at the national grid, courtesy of the United States government. This was on the sidelines of the ongoing Nigeria International Petroleum Summit in Abuja. Mia Ogidi reports.
Day 2 of the Nigeria International Petroleum Summit, and it's a sunrise for the Nigeria power sector. 1,350 megawatts of electricity at the threshold. More than $1 million offering coming from the U.S. Department of Trade and Development to build gas-fired plant in the Federal Capital Territory. With an estimated 202 trillion cubic feet of proven gas reserves and large quantity fled to the skies on daily basis, the federal government declares 2020 as a year of gas. So, U.S. and Nigeria putting pen to paper in taking advantage of this declaration for the greater good of all.
Once built, the Abuja power plant will be yet another example of how the United States and Nigeria are working to develop durable solutions that meet the needs of the people of Nigeria, create jobs, and foster increased bilateral trade and investment.
Well, we are very grateful for the United States government to come in to help us. What this is going to do to us is to de-risk the Abuja power plant. Every one of you here, including the local oil companies, that it is a tax we must do. Don't focus on the profits. That you must create prosperity here, so that we can create peace here, so that all of us can live in peace. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
That was on the sidelines. So, now the main event of the day, the technical session, primarily focusing on proper and prudent management of African resources for the development of the continent.
We need to start building outwards industrial cities that utilize these energy resources to deliver the required growth of the African economy.
The journey Africa must take, that is energy transition in view of global energy dynamics, was absolutely a delight of the panelists. Mie Ogede, NT News.
Still on Power Generation, federal government has further demonstrated its commitment to construct the Mambila Power Project, conceived 40 years ago, with inauguration of 2 committees to mobilize resources to commence work on the project that will deliver 3,050 megawatts of electricity to Nigerians. Joshua Ojito tells us more.
These are members of the Interministerial Steering and Project Delivery Committees, carefully selected to facilitate the takeoff of the Mambila Power Project and deliver it. They will, among others, work with the Taraba State Government for land acquisition and the Chinese Exim Bank for funding of the project. While Minister of Power Saleh Mamman is to head the Interministerial Steering Committee, overseeing Director of Renewable Energy in the Ministry of Power, Farouk Yusuf Yabo, is chairing the Project Delivery Committee.
The Ministry, prior to inauguration of this committee, has already taken a number of critical steps to ensure the successful takeoff of the project.
We have been given this responsibility and we intend to make sure that we deliver on the mandate given to us.
The host community will cooperate to make sure that this project is executed timely.
The project will cut across 7 local government areas of Taraba State and when completed is expected to boost power supply in the country. In Abuja, Joshua Ojito, NTA News.
Away from electrification, a partnership is being developed between Ebonyi State and the Nigerian Television Authority, NTA. Commission of Information and State Orientation, Uche Oji, was at the NTA to convey the state's appreciation.
Chena Oji's visit is intended to enhance the relationship between the NTA and Ebonyi State. NTA's efforts in disseminating accurate information on the state to Nigerians is another major reason for the visit.
And so I'm here at his instance to greet you, to thank you for all that you have done to the people of Ebonyi State, especially in ensuring that our modest achievements have been projected to the world through media coverages. I do know that before 2015 that Ebonyi was one of the states that weren't all the time here, but today, because of you, your singular gesture, we are here all over the place in Nigeria, across Africa. So we want to thank you and appreciate you. We want to tell you that we are not going to take it for granted. Your NTA in Abakaliki will do everything possible to see how we can further synergize with them. And where collaboration is required or assistance is required, we will do. And I do know that from today that you will also have a stronger tie with our governor. who is also very media friendly.
The Director General of the NTA, Yakubu Ibn Mohammed, who had fond memories of Ebonyi State, congratulated this current administration for the giant strides taken, adding that the character of the country will change for the better if every state emulates the Ebonyi example.
We have, we've seen and read about all the giant strides that have been made. And I would like to assure you, Honorable Commissioner, I would like to assure you, His Excellency, through you, that we in NTA will always be partners in progress with any institution, any state government, that seeks to carry this country to the next level. If every state is carried to the next level, the country is in turn carried to the next level. And what you are doing in Ebonyi State is practicalizing, taking to the next level in all its ramifications. And if every state does what Ebonyi State does, Nigeria will be, the face and character of this country will certainly change.
NTA Director General Yakubu Ibn Mohammed's promise to give more support to the states is expected to further strengthen this budding relationship. In Abuja, Ronami Agirani, NTA News.
For more reports on Nationwide, let's join Dibabari Siedoma in Port Harcourt. Nice to see you, Dibabari.
Nice to see you too, Elizabeth. Thank you and welcome to Port Harcourt. The federal government is set to commence full dualization of the Calabar-Itu Road by first week of March 2020. This follows the release of funds to the contractors. The South-South Zonal Controller, Federal Highways, Godwin Ike, thus closed this during inspection of road projects in Akwa Ibom State. Clement Barikwin reports that work has also reached advanced stage on other federal roads in Akwa Ibom State.
Work on the Calabar-Itu Road, particularly the 12-kilometer Akwa Ibom section, was suspended in 2019 due to funding. However, following the signing of the 2020 budget by President Muhammadu Buhari, which has paved way for funds to be made available to the contractors, life will soon return to the area.
I can assure you they are coming back to site first week of March to do the first 4.3 kilometers dualized.
Other federal roads in Akwa Ibom State that also attracted commendations from the people include the reconstruction of 19-kilometer Nongodo, Etinan, Ekoweman Road, where work has reached advanced stage.
A few years ago, about 14 people died, same time inside this water.
The project is planned to complete by the end of this year.
Contract for 39-kilometer Ikodekbene-Abad Road has just been awarded, and the contractors are already clearing the sites.
Which is the Abia state boundary, we have about 25 kilometers here.
The road projects are what many described as links to economic sustainability in Uyo. Clement Barikui, NTA News.
Governor Nyesom Wike has restated that he will not impose anybody on the people of the state. He advises his political associates to reach out and seek the support of Rivers people, especially those eyeing the office of the governor. This was when leaders and people of Oyibo Council area paid him a solidarity visit at Government House, Port Harcourt. Ogedieko reports that the visitors left the Government House excited with assurances that the state government will construct Oyibo Afam Road and a general hospital for Oyibo people.
Governor Wike said all ethnic nationalities of Rivers State have the right to vie for the governorship of the state, noting that Oyibo people should not allow themselves to be intimidated. He pledged not to impose any governorship aspirants on the state or support the idea of automatic ticket for any local government chairman for a second term, stressing that the emerging council chairman must accommodate women.
Whatever you want to fight, go and nobody should intimidate anybody. Enough is enough. Let nobody see you as a second-class citizen. You are not second-class.
Chief Wike assured that his administration will dualize the Oyibo Afam Road and construct a general hospital in the area. He announced a 50 million naira endowment fund for the daughter of a PDP agent in Oyibo killed during the 2019 general elections.
For this dualization, go home today and sleep well. That will be done.
Monumental achievements have also embraced the people of Oyibo local government in various
spheres.
The visitors comprise of top political leaders, chiefs, elders, women, and youths of Oyibo. In Port Harcourt, Ogedinyekwere, NTA News.
And that does it from Port Harcourt. It's back to Elizabeth for the rest of the news. Good evening.
Isomo Dibabari. Now let's take a break. More reports ahead when we return.
Sports coverage and reporting require special skills which can only be acquired through training and experience. NTA TV College JOS invites sports reporters, administrators, commentators in the private and public sector to a special 2-week capacity building course on sports coverage and reporting skills in broadcasting. The course will equip participants with contemporary reporting skills for local and international sports and also expose participants to modern trends in sports commentaries, scripting, shooting, directing, and much more. Take advantage of the course to develop your skills and capacities in sports coverage and reporting. Date 17th to 28th February 2020. Course fee 80,000 Naira only, accommodation inclusive. Running concurrently is a special 4-week intensive course on record management and registry functions. Participants will be tutored on modern techniques of record keeping and registry management. Date 17th February to 13th March 2020. Course fee 100,000 Naira only. Accommodation inclusive. Venue of both courses is the serene and secure environment of NTA TV College near Old Government House, Rayfield, Jos, Plateau State. For more inquiries, please call 0803-314-4383 or 0806-980-9807. NTA TV College Jos, training you to be the best you want to be.
Ha! Not so fast. Look, I'm tired. I want to check out of this country for greener pastures.
Just calm down for a moment. Please sit down. Do you have a job where you're going to?
No, but someone is arranging,
Listen, Aliko. Checking out of this country without proper planning means one thing. Unimaginable begin. You know, I've been in the diaspora, but legitimately doing great things at home and abroad. As I've been saying, without the proper footing abroad, the risk is not worth it. Listen, Alinko, it's better to be home than be trapped abroad, or even end up in prison.
Thanks for staying with us. The House of Representatives Standing Committee on Insurance and Actuarial Matters says it is poised to make insurance services in the country vibrant to meet international best practices and earn the confidence of all Nigerians. Chairman of the committee, Darlington Mokocha, said this at the investigative sitting on how funds are managed and protected by insurance companies operating in Nigeria. The investigation, which covers 2014 to date, is looking at the insurance company transactions, total premium collected and paid, as well as data from ministries, departments and agencies of government.
Every beneficiary must be protected and must be known by the person that is protecting him or her, so that at the end of the day, the claims must be reliably tied to the provisions of the Act already. That's exactly what we're talking about. We don't need to be doing a different thing and our law will be doing a different thing. No, it's not proper. So that's why we are reading it out here, that the beneficial owner, and to take reasonable measure to verify identity of the beneficial owner.
The committee was, however, not impressed with the submissions by the companies, particularly in the presentation of documents. Consequently, the committee asked the insurance companies to make available to it all the required documents to enable it arrive at a conclusion. Still on financial matters, for Nigerians to get rid of borrowing, indebtedness and financial stress, there's need to inculcate the culture of saving, planning and budgeting. This, among other tips and skills, were the benefits of a training on entrepreneurship and business management skills held in Abuja by Al Mustafiya Society of Nigeria. Momso Damien Dati reports.
It's an area where so many issues are clamoring for attention. Increasing bills to be paid, fees to be settled, clothes to wear, food to buy, and so much more. How does one cope, especially with meager resources? Finding solution to this is what Balkis Abdul Malik, a wife, mother, and civil servant, has traced down to this venue, where other women, men, and youths are being equipped with the knowledge and skills of generating extra money.
It mustn't be government, salary. We should have another plan because you have a budget you're working towards.
Entrepreneurship is an integral part of the teachings of Islam, in which many people, considerable number of people are not aware. And those who are aware, they don't care about it. So at Al-Musafia, we have deemed it very, very necessary to bring this out to the populace.
Even 7-year-old Ibrahim Suleiman Inda has learned a lesson or two.
You should save your money to not stress your mom and your dad, and don't request for too much.
The major scheme now that is very, very important to federal government under education is to inculcate the knowledge of entrepreneurship into teenagers and the youth in general.
Practical ways to save money, starting up a business and procedures of registering business name in Nigeria are some of the many lessons Balkis and Ibrahim are taking home. Momso Damien Dati, NTA News.
Into sporting matters, joining me live via the telephone to bring us up to speed on the Unity Touch for the 20th National Sports Festival in Damaturu is Eunice Sulaiman. Hello, Sulaiman.
Good evening, Elizabeth.
Good evening. Could you describe the ambience in Damaturu for us now that the Touch has landed?
Okay, the Touch of Unity arrived in Damaturu in the morning at about 10 a.m.
Okay.
From there, there was a procession that started from the middle of the town, that is the central roundabout, with the officials from the Federal Ministry of Youth and Sports Development, officials from the Yobe State Ministry of Youth, Sports and Social Development and Sports Commission,
okay,
including athletes that will be presenting Yobe State in the upcoming 20th National Sports Festival. So from there, they moved down in procession. They moved down to the government house, okay, where the Touch of Unity was presented to Governor Malabuni. You know, he has received the Touch of Unity for the first time,
okay,
as the Governor of Yobe State.
All right, now, what is the level of preparedness for the sports festival by the state government and the contingents?
Okay, during the presentation of the Touch of Unity to the governor told the representative of the Minister of Youth Sports Development, Mohammed Deputy Kabir, that Yobe State government is ever ready, you know, to give the state contingent all the necessary support for them to succeed in the upcoming sports festival.
Okay, now, so do you have an idea of where the Touch is going to next?
Yes, according to the representative of the Minister, Mohammed Deputy, the Touch, came from Bauchi, because the Touch was in Bauchi yesterday, and they will be heading to Borno, that is on 12th of February 2020. So tomorrow, the state governor, Borno State Governor, Professor Babagana Umar Zulum, will be receiving the Touch.
All right, Eunice, thank you so much for your time.
Okay,
thank you very much. Eunice Sulaiman there on the Touch at Damaturu. Still talking sports, the fact that police in Nigeria is tasking and mentally demanding. Officers and men are therefore required to maintain some level of physical well-being and mental alertness to be on top of their game. The Nigeria Police Games is one of the means of keeping them fit, and the 12th edition tagged Anambra 2020 is slated for this month's Games. Francis Form reports.
It began as a way of keeping officers and men in good shape. Over time, the police games also provided the platform to entertain and build goodwill with the public, thereby filling the trust gap. The games has also produced some of Nigeria's finest sports personalities like Choma Ajunwa, Letson Debada and Samuel Peters.
Strengthening confidence between the citizens and the police
and accelerate the attainment of our community policing goals. We are also desirous of reproducing likes of late SP Sunday Bada, who won 3 medals at the World Indoor Championships, including a gold medal in 1997.
This is the first time in 29 years that we are having such an opportunity. We are going to give it all the attention that is required. You will also enjoy the peace, tranquility, the generosity of the Anambra. They love the police. Since 2014, the police has helped me immensely in security.
Now in its 12th edition, Anambra State is set to host more than 1,000 officers and men of the police force in about 20 events. Francis from NTA News.
And still talking sports, facilities for 20th National Sports Festival near completion in Benin City. Tamara Ibil brings us details on sports updates.
With less than 2 months to the start of the 20th National Sports Festival in Benin City, the Edo State government has reassured on timely completion of facilities for the Games. This was the fallout of a joint inspection tour of the Samuel Ugbemudia Stadium in Benin City by Governor Godwin Obaseki and Minister of Youth and Sports Development Sunday Dari.
The deadline is that by the end of the first week of March, we should effectively be getting the contractor out of the site.
There's been commitment on the part of His Excellency and also the Deputy Governor to make sure that this place is finished in record time.
Meanwhile, Goodluck Enaini reports that Governor Baseki has declared open the 3rd Edo State Sports Festival, with 18 local government areas in participation until February 15 at the University of Benin Sports Complex. The 5-day games will enable the test run of facilities ahead of the National Sports Festival, as well as selection of the state's team for the games. In another development, Bayelsa State Governor Henry Seriaki Dixon has restated commitment to grassroots sports development in the state. The governor was speaking in Yenegua at the final of the 4th Restoration Cup, won by Okolobiri FC, who beat Ekeremo FC 4-2 on penalties after a 1-all draw. Peretorogbene FC beat Nembe FC 5-0 in the 3rd place match.
Sports Academy, where they're exposed to the best of sports as well as the best of academics.
Youth and Sports Development Minister Sunday Dari, who graced the final, inspected the wrestling theatre at the Samson Siasia Sports Complex. Timini Pri Ohia reports that the event equally featured various contests in sprints, as well as inauguration of facilities at the sports complex. With sports updates, Tamara Ibiwe, NTA News.
Thank you, Tamara. And away from sports, the state funeral for former President Daniel Arap Moi of Kenya took place today in Nairobi. Vice President Yemi Osinbajo left Nigeria last night and represented President Muhammad Buhari at the occasion. Moi, who died on Tuesday, 4th of February, aged 95, was the second and longest serving president of Kenya from 1978 to 2002. Vice President Osinbajo joined other African heads of state and world leaders at the occasion, which held at the Nyayo National Stadium in Nairobi, and described the late Arap Moi as a great African who contributed to the development of the continent and its people.
Was also very instrumental in COMESA and even IGAD. These are the precursors of the African Free Trade Continental Area arrangements that we're making today, and to which almost every African country has subscribed. And it will define the future of trade and relations in Africa. We thank God for such a great life. I thank God for all that He was able to do for Kenya and also for Africa.
State House correspondent Jide Uni further reports that the Vice President, who was accompanied on the trip by senior government officials, is expected back in Nigeria later today, 11th of February 2020. Meanwhile, the National Assembly suspended Tuesday's plenary in honor of late Senator Ignatius Longjan, who died on Monday, 10th of February 2020. National Assembly correspondent Ignatius Nkwo reports.
It was a new legislative week in the Senate chamber, but this time it started in a morning mood. Deputy President of the Senate, Ovie Omar Gege, in black attire, led the entrance procession. 30 minutes after the Senate reconvened, the leader of the Senate, Abdullahi Yahya, drew the attention of the Senate to the death of one of its colleagues, Senator Ignatius Longjan, and called for a minute silence and for the Senate to adjourn in honor of the late senator. The legislators suspended all items on the order paper, adjourned plenary, and moved to the condolence register.
We are consoled that he led an enviable life, a life of patriotism, a life of service.
The Distinguished Excellency Ignatius Longjan is to me a father, one that I enjoyed his fatherly backing, his advices and friendship.
Apart from being a colleague, he's a good friend, he's a leader that would learn, and it's a great loss to me and Plateau State in general.
In solidarity with the Senate, the House of Representatives also suspended its plenary in honor of the late senator. President of the Senate, Ahmed Lawan, thereafter led a condolence visit to the family of the deceased.
What always endeared him to me was his sense of commitment to the Nigerian project.
The Senate has scheduled Wednesday, 12th of February 2020 for valedictory session in honor of late Senator Benjamin Uwajimogu, who died 2 months ago. Ignatius Nkwo, NTA News.
Still on condolences, Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed has condoled with the President of the Senate, Ahmed Lawan, the Chairman, Senate Committee on Culture and Tourism, Rocha Sokorocha, and members of the committee over the death of the committee's Vice Chairman, Senator Ignatius Longjan. In a statement signed by Segun Adeyemi, Special Assistant to the Minister, described as deep shock and saddening the death of Senator Longjan, which came at a time his enthusiasm and insightful ideas are most needed to help catalyze the development of the culture and tourism sector in the country. The minister said the death has robbed the sector of one of its pillars of support. Lai Mohammed extended his condolence to the government and people of Plateau State, as well as the family, friends and associates of the deceased, urging them to take solace in the fact that in his lifetime he served his fatherland meritoriously in several capacities, thereby contributing immensely to the development of the country. The minister prayed to God to grant repose to the soul of the deceased and also his family the fortitude to bear the loss. Family, colleagues and sympathizers have poured out heartwarming tributes on late Mrs. Charity Modo, wife of an assistant director news in the Nigerian Television Authority, Bonaventure Modo. Doing dia was at the St. John Mary Vianney Catholic Church, Kubwa. Now reports.
There's been a very solemn atmosphere here at the Cathedral of St. John Mary's Vianney Catholic Church, Kubwa, where family members, friends, associates and church members turned out to celebrate a woman who they say lived a life that is worthy of emulation.
We pray that our sister has prepared herself, so he has returned to her God. And we also shall one day return. And so our sister's funeral should help us to know that we need to prepare ourselves daily.
Before her death, she kept making a passionate appeal. He said, please, I want all the family to be committed to the service of God. She was a good woman.
We are really sad that she left us the way she left us. But we believe that her soul is with God because she lived a very good life.
With the management, we are here to condole him. He should take it lightly.
he should take it that this is the will of God. It can happen, and it has happened. We believe she's resting now.
Even though the demise of late Mrs. Charity is so painful, but they are consoled by the fact that she lived a life that is worthy of emulation, and that which will be cherished for a long time to come.
May her soul rest in peace. Amen. Now a quick look at the weather picture for Nigeria and other cities around the world. And that's Nationwide today. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Elizabeth Omori. Enjoy your evening.